My god, I look like a ghost right now. Oh, I hope it shows up on the video like it's doing on my webcam right now. Hey, review family, keep it high, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, your review guy, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one, I'm going to be doing a very, very special review of the Miscarriage album, Homicidal Mania Trilogy. So a bit of backstory for Miscarriage. They were formed in 2016 by Ulf and John. Ulf is from Sweden, and John is from the US of A. This is their first project they've really been working together on. They've both been in projects prior to this, but when they formed it in January of 2017, they released Disposed Abomination, which is digitally made. And then in 2018, they released in March the Homicidal Mania 3 albums. And in August, finally released this album right here, that we'll get to this in a second. And then on BRC 30 Productions, a small Belgian label, in August, they released all of it in a compilation, Homicidal Mania Trilogy. And that's why this album review is so unique, is I've been in contact with Ulf for a while. He is a huge supporter of the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. He follows all my videos. Really fun dude to be around. Really smart. Has a very extensive knowledge of heavy metal music as well as genres and different bands and artists and things about them. Really love talking to him. And he was kind enough to actually send a physical copy of this album. I can only imagine there's not that many of them, so it really means a lot, and I'm so excited to add it to my collection. So I just wanted to say thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the review. All of the information for this band and the label will be in the description below. You can go buy this album on physical copy. I'll put Apponted Cruicifixion's channel, that's Ulf's channel. I will put that in the description, and you can go support them. You can go support the band, support him, and yeah, just please do that. I try to give some exposure to lesser known artists that may not really have like hundreds upon thousands of people listening to them, and obviously I don't have a huge amount of influence, but it really means a lot that you chose me to do this, so I thank you so much for the honor and the opportunity. So Deathgrind, Goregrind, a very specific genre that I am very picky with, especially Deathgrind. I could probably count on one hand how many bands I like from that genre. I like Pig Destroyer, Cattle Decapitation, I like Red Chord, I like Benighted, I like, let's see, what else do I like? Wait, is that literally it? Napalm Death? Yeah, I can count on one hand how much Deathgrind I like, but this is definitely a release that I can admire and that I can dig into a lot. Is it the best album that I've ever heard? No, very few albums are, but this is still a very formidable release, especially for a band that is so early into their career. John handles the vocals, guitar, and bass, and Ulf handles the drum work, the percussion. Gotta say, everything sounds amazing on this album, especially on the second half and the third half. And as you can see, there is 30 songs on this album. It's over 70 minutes. I've listened to it twice, made some notes for it, and honestly, it would be impossible for me to go over every single track on this album. I would be here for like an hour, so I'm more so going to take this in acts. I'm going to talk about each stage of the album, because yes, they are different. Fuming Blood starts off chapter 1, and it is very strange. It starts off with this very eerie, creepy, icy spoken word, like clip from something. Is it from a movie? Is it from a scene from a movie? It maybe sounds like it's from like a horror movie or something. And then you get right into the brutality. And while brutal is an adjective that could definitively be used to describe this entire album, I still feel like chaotic would be a better one, because chaos really does lead this album at the front. At the whole of this album, it really is more chaotic than it is brutal. And while it is super heavy, while it is balls to the wall heavy, it is chaotic. There is no order to this. It is insanity. It is madness. Like, can I even replicate what this album sounds like? It's complete madness from start to finish. The first half to me is the best half. It is so weird from the start. You get shrieks, you get gutturals, you get Goregrind vocals over these drums that sound like they are just dead skin being beat, and guitars that are made with such technical prowess that they're all over the place, and the bass really crunchy. That's one thing I wish, is that the bass was maybe a little bit more prevalent on this album, but that's a very minor complaint. And while a lot of times these song titles can seem extreme, I do feel like they fit each act very well. Chapter 1 has a lot of violent themes. It has a lot of very kind of extreme type of sounding song titles. For an extreme sound, this is the definitely the most chaotic side of the album, because we get some things later on that I'm going to talk about, but the first half feels more chaotic than the other two chapters. Now, that's not to say that this album loosens up at all, but it does break down into some interesting things throughout. The first half is just straight up Deathgrind. It is straight up Goregrind. I would lean more towards the Goregrind sound because these vocals are unintelligible, they are insane, they are super close to the mic, sometimes sounding distorted, sometimes sounding just gargly, to the point to where it really is impressive the way they come off and how they still roar and lead over these instrumentals that are so crazy. You wouldn't think something that would be so kind of low down and murky and icy as these vocals are would work in tune so well with the instrumentation, but I do think it works well. Chapter 2 is where this album starts to really kind of, I guess, open up a bit. Track number 13, Skull Basher, is kind of a prime example and exemplifies why this album opens up in the second and third half. You get this crunchy, low, murky, eerie, just ominously scary sound on Skull Basher that becomes fairly prevalent on quite a few other songs on this album, especially on the second and especially the third half. Slow Torture, Suffocating Sludge, Welcoming Netherworld. Do you see what I mean by these song titles? They seem like on the first half they're violent and extreme, but on the second one they do seem more ominous. They seem a bit kind of like they're foreboding something. And the second half is just as brutal and heavy as the first. I just enjoy how down-tuned some of the guitars can sound on the second half, as well as the bass sometimes becoming a bit more prevalent, the drums still being beat to all hell. It's amazing. And on these lower songs that take these almost doom metal riffs, I really do feel like they're sticky. They're infectious, they're catchy, and when I go into a Deathgrind album, I'm not really going into it thinking, oh, this is going to be catchy, this is going to be earwormy, but there are genuinely some riffs on this album, and on the second half in particular, that really just get in my ear and won't leave. I love this almost funeral doom metal sound it takes on songs like Skull Basher, where it's doom metal-y, it's low, it's down-tuned, it has some distortion even if it's not distorted, natural distortion. And I have to say that Chapter 2 is probably my second favorite. Chapter 3 is when it opens up in a love child that is just completely an amalgamation of everything that you got on the album up to this point. You get some of these down-tuned doom metal-y type things, but for the most part, they're just playing their asses off. It sounds amazing. It sounds super, super heavy, and it really haunts me that there are so many bands in the underground that I would enjoy that I will never hear because they're so underground, but I want these guys to be more well-known because they really do play with controlled chaos in a lot of ways. It's hard to find a Deathgrind band that isn't just playing heavy for heavy's sake, and these people really do feel like they are giving mind to the construction and the assembly of each track that they're going for. For 30 tracks, for it to be over 70 minutes, and me to be enamored and completely on this like mental trip throughout this entire album, it is really a testament to how good this band is, and for being so soon into their career. This is likely my favorite Deathgrind album of the year. It's right up there with Benighted's album, Dogs Always Bite Harder Than Their Master. I really did enjoy this, and I can't thank you enough, Ulf, for really giving me the opportunity and the chance and the honor to be able to review this. I appreciate it just so much. It means so much to me, and I thank you for helping me add this to my collection. Just wanting to show off a bit of the thing. You can buy this on their Bandcamp as well. I'm not like sponsored or anything, but you can. I highly suggest this album. It's on their Bandcamp. I'm going to put all their stuff in the description below, and thank you. I get to add this to my collection now, and I will do that on video. Where do I want to put this? We'll put it right there. There we go. Thank you so much for allowing me to review this. I appreciate it a ton. I'm so excited to play that on my stereo some more, and it is super heavy. I'm going to be giving this album an 8 out of 10, but what did you guys think? You can post in the comment section below. Go crazy, go listen, go support these guys. Like, comment, subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and I will talk to you guys next time. But until then, my name is J Morris, Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.